By the time someone reaches out to you to work with you, trust has already started building or doubt has already started forming. That is the truth I want you to sit with today. The call is not always where the decision starts. It does not start in the DM or in the inquiry form. Most of the time, the decision to work with you started earlier. Perhaps when this person heard your name, saw your content, remembered something you said, or opened your newsletter. In one of my earlier episodes, we talked about the referral ceiling, about the fact that referrals may get your name in the room, but it does not always get you the client. The person who referred you opened the door, but what the buyer sees after that referral determines whether she walks through it or not. So today, I want to go deeper into what happens after someone finds you. And I'm not going to hand you a 50-item checklist or tell you to go fix everything by tomorrow morning. I want to talk to you about the part that actually matters. When someone lands in your world, does what they see create confidence or confusion? Welcome back to the Own Your Brand Show. I'm your girl, Victoria Odekomaya, the founder of Lim Studios here in Indianapolis, where my team and I help local female service business owners turn their expertise into visibility that builds trust, drive revenue, and create lasting impact. If you are a local service business owner making at least $250,000 a year, this episode is for you, especially if you know your work is good, your clients love you, and your reputation is strong inside your network, but your online presence does not fully reflect the level of the business you are actually building. Now, before we go further, this is not theory. After working with hundreds of service business owners here in Indiana, I have seen a pattern repeat itself more times than I can count. The businesses that build a consistent, credible online presence earn trust before the first conversation. In fact, that trust helps make the conversion into clients faster. That is why I'm so confident about what we're talking about today. Now, real quickly, for the woman listening right now who is thinking, Victoria, I hear you, but I am barely online. I know I should be. I know people look me up online. Referrals are probably sending people to my page, but I do not know what to do. I do not know what to say, and I do not even know how to show up without feeling fake or salesy. And honestly, I just don't have the time. This episode is not here to shame you. It is here to help you understand what your buyer is already doing so you can start building the right kind of presence. I'm not talking about random posting or trying to go viral. Just enough consistent, credible visibility so that when someone hears your name and goes looking, she finds something that helps her trust you more. So without much ado, let's jump right into it. So hear me when I say this. Your online presence is not just content. It is evidence. It is the place people go to confirm whether what they've heard about you is true. It is where your reputation gets supported or weakened. It is where a buyer starts asking, does this person understand my problem? Do I trust her? Can I see enough proof to take the next step? And the hard part is that she's asking those questions quietly. She's not calling you first to explain yourself or justify why you haven't posted in a while. She's making a decision based on what she can see. That is why visibility matters. Not because you need attention for attention's sake. Not because you want to become a content creator or share every detail of your life online. Visibility matters because buyers need evidence. They need to see enough to trust what they heard. And for the kind of woman I work with, that is usually the missing piece. The expertise is already there. The service is solid. Clients are getting results. The business they're building is real. The problem is not enough of that is visible. So the buyer may hear your name and still not feel confident enough to move forward. I have lost track of how many times people have said to me, Victoria, I have been watching you, and they do not say it like it's a small thing. They say it like they have been paying attention, observing, seeing how I show up, how they've noticed the studio, the Boss Ladies magazine, they've listened to the podcast, they've seen client success stories, they've seen me show up in events. So by the time they reach out, they are not starting from zero. Trust has been building. One of my clients told me she has been watching me for years. She said, Victoria, I have been watching you for a long time. She reminded me of a conversation we had. She said, do you remember we talked around the same time last year? And I remembered she's been in my world that entire time. She was not ready the first time we talked, but she did not disappear because my online presence kept doing its job. The email kept going out, the podcast kept dropping, the content kept showing up in front of her. Every piece of it kept the relationship warm even when we were not physically talking. That is what consistent and intentional online presence does. It holds the relationship warm while the buyer is getting ready. So by the time she's ready, we are not starting from zero. The trust had already been built the entire time. All I had to do was confirm what she already believed and invite her to take the next step. This is not a sales story. This is a visibility story, and the difference matters. Then there's another client who we recently featured in the Boss Ladies magazine. We had been in each other's world for a while. She's actually been following me online. Then I saw her at the networking events, and she walked up to me and said, Victoria, I need to get on your calendar because I am ready. I did not pitch her. I did not explain my offer. I did not start from scratch. She had already made the decision before she got to me. The in-person moment did not do all the work. It just moved her to take the next step because the trust had already been built before she walked through that door. Now, here's what I want you to take from these stories. Neither of these moments happened in a vacuum. One reached out after watching me online for a year. The other saw me at an event. But in both cases, the online presence was doing the work quietly in the background. That is what made those moments land the way they did. The trust was already there before either conversation started. That is the power of visibility when it's connected to a real business. It doesn't always create instant buyers. And I need you to hear me because some people quit way too soon. They show up for 2 weeks. They don't get a flood of inquiries. They decide that showing up online does not work. But that is not how trust works. Trust accumulates. It builds through repeated evidence. It builds when someone sees your face more than once. It builds when they see your message and it's clear enough to make them think she understands exactly what I'm dealing with. Trust builds when she sees other people connect to your work, when she hears people talking about you in rooms you're not in. Then one day, something moves her to take action. And although it looks sudden from the outside, it is not. The decision had been forming for a while. And this is why I need you to stop thinking about your online presence as just posting, because posting is too small of a word for what is really happening. Your online presence is your trust account. Every piece of content with a clear message, every real story, every real client's result, every newsletter, podcast episode, behind the scenes moments, every feature, thoughtful email is either making a deposit into that trust account or taking up space. And when you finally ask someone to book, buy, or take the next step, you are asking for a withdrawal from that account. This is why some sales conversations feel easy and others feels like you're dragging someone uphill. When the trust account is full, you are no longer fighting to prove your value. You are simply opening the door, and that is a completely different energy. Convincing feels like, please believe me. Inviting feels like you already see the value and here is the next step. And that is what I want for you. I don't want you fighting to prove your value in every single sales conversation. I want your visibility to do part of the work before they get on the call. But that requires you to show up online with intention. And I want to be clear about that. I know some of you are just tired of hearing the phrase show up. By showing up with intention, I don't mean posting every day or being everywhere at once. I mean making sure that what you put out there is actually working towards something. Every piece of content either builds trust or it doesn't. Every email either deepens the relationship or it takes up space. Every story either helps the right person see herself in your work or it disappears into the noise. That is what intentional showing up looks like. Not more, not louder, just purposeful. Now, I have to say this because I have so much compassion for the female business owner who does not have a consistent online presence yet. Most of the time, you're not ignoring visibility because you don't care. You're focused on doing the work, treating the patient, serving your clients, managing teams, running the practice, delivering the service, anything to keep the business moving. You know you should be visible, but you just don't have the time. or you don't even know what to say, or how to turn your expertise into content without it becoming another full-time job. That's exactly the problem we solve at Lim Studios. Most of the time, the problem is not a lack of effort or care. It is a lack of a clear system, a way to show up that does not drain you, but still builds the trust. And that system does not require you to become a social media person or to do it all by yourself. In fact, for many of you, you should not be doing it by yourself. What you need is someone or something that takes what is already true about your work and make it visible in a way that supports your business. Not random posting, just consistent, credible evidence that the right buyer can find when she goes looking. This matters more now because of AI. The internet is filling up with more content than ever before, and a lot of it is just AI slop, polished but empty. They are everywhere, but they are not building trust. I think local business owners who actually have real experience, real clients, real stories, and real impacts have an opportunity right now. You don't need to compete by becoming louder. You need to become more real, more specific, more human, and more visible in a way that only you can. This is what I call authentic visibility, and it matters. Authentic visibility is not random self-expression. It is your real life, your real story, your real expertise posted with a purpose. It is still you, it is still true, but it's intentional about what you share and why. And this is why a lot of business owners get stuck. They think if it is planned, it is fake. If it is structured, it is not real. But strategy does not make you less authentic. Strategy actually helps the right part of your authenticity reach the right people. The goal is not to manufacture a version of yourself for the internet. The goal is to make the real value of your work easier to understand, easier to trust, and easier to choose. So a few weeks ago, I released the story of how the Boss Ladies magazine started. That was episode 88. You can go watch it on YouTube or listen to it on your favorite podcast platform. And every single event I've been to since that episode got dropped, multiple people have come to me to talk about it. Whether because they saw it they read the story, watched the episode. But here's the thing I want you to understand. That episode was not random. I did not just wake up one morning and decide to share it. I actually released it intentionally because I wanted people to understand the heart behind the work that we do, to see what I am building and why, and to be able to connect with the mission before they ever consider working with me. That is authentic visibility as a strategy. And the result is exactly what I described. People are having conversations about my business in rooms I am not even in. My story is traveling, my work is traveling, and my name is showing up in more places because of that one piece of intentional content. The women featured in the magazine too have experienced the exact same thing. And I want to be clear about something. We don't just feature women casually. Every feature is an intentional, strategic, documented way of making a woman's expertise visible at the level she's actually operating at. And the results are not accidental either. Doors open, credibility compounds, opportunities find you so you never have to go chasing. That is what intentional, authentic visibility does. It gives your story, your expertise, your authority a way to travel beyond the rooms you personally enter. And it keeps working long after the issue drops. If that kind of visibility is something you want for your own business or your story, we're currently accepting features for our next issue. It comes out every quarter. You can click the link below to learn more about it. Now, that is what I want your online presence to do too. Help your work travel beyond the rooms you personally enter. Help buyers feel confident before they ever reach you. Support the referral instead of leaving it standing alone. And that confidence is built through three things, essentially: clarity, credibility, and consistency. Clarity means people quickly understand what you do and who you help. Credibility means that they can see enough to believe you can actually help them. And consistency means they are not wondering whether your business is still active or operating at the level someone else told them it was. When those three things are present, the buyer feels safe taking the next step. When they are missing, though, doubt starts forming. And doubt does not always sound dramatic. Sometimes it's like, I'll come back to this later. When enough people say, I'll come back to it later, that can translate to a slow season that you cannot explain in your business. This is why at Lim Studios, we think about visibility as an infrastructure, not something that you do when you have the extra time, not something that disappears when clients' work gets busy. It is a system that captures your expertise, documents your proof, tells your story, and keeps your business visible to the people who need to trust you. Because you should not have to choose between serving your current clients and being visible to the next one. That is a broken model. And that is exactly why so many service business owners fall in and out of visibility. They get busy and they disappear. Things slow down and then they start showing up again. When clients' work picks back up, the visibility falls off the list. Every time that happens, the buyer gets an inconsistent picture. But when visibility becomes an infrastructure, it holds even when the business is busy. So I want you to stop thinking about posting more and start thinking, I need to create more evidence. Evidence of how you think, how you help people, how you create results, how your business is active, and that your work is worth trusting. Because when a serious buyer is deciding whether to move forward, she's not looking for content. She's looking for evidence. So here is where I want to land after this episode. The starting point is not perfection. It is direction. What do you want to be known for? What proof do you already have that needs to be brought forward? What stories have you lived with your clients that explains why your work matters? That is where visibility starts, not with trends or pressure to perform. It starts with the truth of your work made visible. And when you do that consistently, the sales conversation changes and so does your revenue. People come in warmer, they come in with context, they come in saying, I have been watching you. I saw your story, I read your newsletter, I saw your emails, I feel like I already know you. And that is not by accident. That is trust doing its job before you enter the room. And that is how we at Lim Studios are working towards our goal of generating $100 million in combined revenue for the local female service business owners that we serve. So here is what I want you to take away today. Your online presence is not just where people find you. It is where they begin deciding whether to trust you. If you're not there yet, start building a presence that reflects the level of the business you have already built. If you're there but inconsistent, stop treating visibility like a task and start treating it like an infrastructure. And if you're showing up but not seeing movement, ask whether your visibility is creating enough trust or just filling space. Because being found is good, but being chosen requires trust, and trust requires evidence. This is why I created the visibility audit. It is a simple way to look at your presence through the buyer's eyes and ask the one question that matters. Does this create confidence? It is based on the same trust journey we walk through with our clients inside Lim Studios, and it will help you see where the buyers may be losing confidence before they ever book the call. Click the link in the YouTube description or show notes to access the resource. It is free, it takes about 10 minutes, and for some of you, it is going to explain a slow season you've never been able to diagnose in your business. Your work may already be excellent. Your clients may already love you, but if the buyer cannot see enough evidence when they go looking, they may never give you the chance to prove it. And that is the lake we're trying to close. Thank you so much for spending your time with me today. If this episode made you think of another local female service business owner who is excellent at what she does, but is not visible enough to the right people to trust and choose her, please send this to her. If you found this helpful, subscribe on YouTube or follow on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you're listening right now. It is how the next episode finds you, and it helps another woman in Indiana find it too. I am Victoria Odekomaya. Thank you again for spending your time with you. I'll see you next week, but until then, remember this: your expertise deserves evidence, and your visibility is how that evidence travels.